everyone. Hope you are enjoying your weekend. I want to discuss a pretty big topic regarding the Flash movie. A Hollywood Reporter article dropped yesterday that had a lot of people talking, and I would have covered it yesterday, but I wanted to cover the Rebel Moon stuff that was shown at Doom, so head over to the channel in case you missed that. Okay, going back to the Flash, a Hollywood Reporter article is describing 3 different endings that the film had, which before the movie came out, they did say that they had tested a few different endings and that they were only doing one premiere for the movie to save the secret ending that they didn't want to reveal to earlier screenings or earlier audiences. So even at the CinemaCon trailer, there were chunks missing from the ending. And then at the screening that I think took place like a week or two before the movie came out, or a couple of weeks before, they had some stuff blurred out. So they only showed the ending that's in the movie now, as it is in theaters, at the premiere, and then now in theaters. So potential spoilers ahead, in case you have not seen the movie. It does discuss the ending, so I'm just putting that out there in case you have not seen it yet, or in case you haven't read this article, or if you don't know who shows up at the end, just putting out a spoiler warning. Okay, so originally the first ending that was shot still ended at the courthouse, just like the movie does. You know, Barry's at his dad's appeal. But in the original ending, Sasha Calle's Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman were there. It says that this screen tested several times, and it reversed the deaths of Supergirl and Batman, which happened earlier in the film in the alternate timeline that Barry goes to with Zod and Faora, right? Now, it says that it was meant to highlight that Barry did not reset the timeline as he thought he did. And I remember some of the first set pictures that we saw from the movie, specifically of Michael Keaton's Batman and Sasha Calle's Supergirl. It looked like they were in front of the courthouse. And I was wondering what happened with that in the movie. And now it makes sense that there were, but then I remembered, they did test some different endings for the movie, but this is giving a little bit more specific detail. Because I do remember those set pictures. I remember sharing them on the channel. That's when we first saw Sasha in the suit and everything. I do remember those pictures. However, this is, after that, the movie got caught up in the merger, right? And then so people took over. Michael DeLuca, Pamela Abdy were kind of the interim people in charge of DC while they were looking for people to become permanent leaders in that for DC Studios. Now, when they were there, a new Flash ending was conceived. This new version was still on the courthouse steps, but now Calle's Supergirl was joined by Superman, played by Henry Cavill, and Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot. Keaton also remained. It says that DeLuca and Abdy believed they were being strategic with the ending. Cavill was going to cameo for DC movie Black Adam and was being teed up to return to the role in a brand new Superman movie. Supergirl was retained because even though the executives were killing the development of a standalone Supergirl movie, they were open to her returning in some form and didn't want the last image audiences saw of her to be death at the hands of Zod. This was also during the time that a third Wonder Woman movie was being, developed with Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot, of course. So this was a nice way to keep Wonder Woman in the mix. And this ending was shot in September with Miller, Cavill, Gadot, and Keaton and Calle. They shot it before we saw Black Adam in theaters. So it's probably around the same time that he shot the cameo for Black Adam, or probably afterward, because they had a deadline of Labor Day to shoot the Black Adam cameo. So that was a pretty, it was very close, all short period of time, like a short window of time that he shot both of those. And there were rumors that Henry Cavill shot a scene for The Flash. And then later on it came out that that was being cut. And with Wonder Woman, we heard that the rumor that Henry Cavill's Superman was going to meet Sasha Calle's Supergirl. That's when the hype was all, we were all hyped up that Henry Cavill was back. That's when we started hearing all this stuff. So it seems like they did shoot a scene with all of them. And I didn't find that hard to believe because Pamela Abdy and Michael DeLuca did give the okay for Henry Cavill to come back in Black Adam. And they gave him the okay to make an announcement. So that wasn't hard for me to believe that he did shoot something for The Flash, because that would have been their next big movie after Black Adam. And why wouldn't you want to show them, especially in this multiverse movie? But then came another big change, and James Gunn and Peter Safran were put in place to run DC Studios right after Black Adam came out. In November, we found out about that. And it says, knowing that they were resetting the DC universe under their own vision, Gunn and Safran saw that having Cavill and Gadot in the new ending was potentially promising something their plans were not going to deliver. One of the first actions the duo took was to scrap the Cavill Superman film, and they parted way with Jenkins, effectively killing the third Wonder Woman installment. According to this article and people that have spoken to Hollywood Reporter, James Gunn and Peter Safran started looking for ways to change the ending again, but they still wanted to have the idea that Barry Allen thinks all is right, but then the rug is pulled out at the last moment, and he realized that something is still different about the timeline that he goes back to. So that's when they decided to do the George Clooney cameo, which we see at the end of the movie. He thinks Ben Affleck's Bruce is going to come and see him at the courthouse, but it turns out to be George Clooney. This was a very last minute change. It says it was made within a few weeks with some phone calls, 2 screenings of the movie, and half a day of shooting in January. It doesn't sound like it was, oh, that was still January, but that's pretty late to be shooting something for the ending of a movie that comes out, a few months later. So I don't know, man. That sucks because I think we all kind of knew it was probably true that a cameo or an ending with Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot and him meeting Sasha Calle as Supergirl and all of that. I thought it was probably true because we got the cameo in Black Adam. They let him make an announcement to come back. Then everything changed. There was tons of rumors about, the third act or the ending of The Flash being changed several times. It would have been awesome to see all of them together. I understand that, they're saying, we're going to change things moving forward. So we don't want to put Henry Cavill Superman and Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, because we don't want fans to expect that they're going to be continuing on in the new DC universe. So what does that mean? George Clooney is going to? Is he going to be Batman for Batman Brave and the Bold? I don't think so. I mean, I doubt it because he's talked extensively about how much he hated playing Batman, and he did not like watching himself in that movie. And I mean, not to say that things can't change and you can come back and maybe try things differently at some point, but I would be very surprised if, I don't see, he'd probably be okay with doing this because he kind of just showed up and said a few words, to Barry, but doing a whole movie, I don't know. And then James Gunn said, when they revealed their little slate or whatever for the new DC reboot, he said that The Flash resets everything. But personally, I didn't get that from the ending of the movie. Yes, it's a different Bruce. It's not Ben's Bruce. But that's the only person that you see that's different when Barry goes back to that timeline. They don't say anything about Sasha Calle's Supergirl, Henry Cavill's Superman. They don't say anything about what happened to them. Yes, you see what happens to them in the alternate timeline when he's with Barry too, which was kind of spoiled in this article as well. That doesn't mean that they don't exist in other universes and other timelines, because earlier in the movie they established the multiverse. I didn't get the perception that the whole thing is reset now because of the ending of the movie. That was just me personally. I didn't get that, but of course, James Gunn is going to want to use that as a way to, this is why we're doing a reboot, and they've announcing a reboot before this universe has even had its time to come to some sort of conclusion. Doesn't make any, I think that was a bad decision on their part. They could have just waited, until we see Aquaman 2 is the last one that's going to come out. We have Blue Beetle, but I think he's going to be part of the new DC universe probably. And then we have Aquaman 2 coming out at the end of the year, which I don't know how the cameo that he had in the credit scene of The Flash, another spoiler, sorry, it doesn't make any sense because I don't think he's going to be a fumbling drunk in Aquaman 2. So I don't know why they would, I think that was also a last minute credit scene that they filmed for the movie. See, that's another thing that, Arthur Curry is still Aquaman when Barry goes back to his original timeline. So it doesn't say to me, so I don't get the impression that the whole timeline is reset. Even though he's different because he's like a drunk. We see him drinking in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but he's not fumbling around and falling all over the place. And in his own movie, his first movie, he chose to become King of Atlantis, So how is he supposed to be in his second movie? He's not going to be like the way we saw him at the end of The Flash. It would have been cool to see Wonder Woman, Sasha Calle, Supergirl, Henry Cavill, Superman all together, because just let them have some kind of conclusion, you know, before you decide to go and reset everything. That was my opinion. But I just wanted to cover this article because it was causing a lot of conversation yesterday. And then, of course, we saw them at Tudum the same day and saw how much the audience and the fans there just showed so much love and support for them and for Zach, which was really cool to see. And I'm happy for them, happy for Zach. Thank you guys for the support on the channel. Don't forget to check out links in the description. I continue to add items to the discount link for you guys if you're interested in that as well. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are aware when I post a new video, and I see you guys soon.